It's a bright sunny summer's day. I'm home alone, the husband's away, and I'm running a list of the things I could do. Maybe meet up with friends, have a drink or two. I reach for my phone, and there it is sitting so innocently on the screen. The root of all evil, a procrastinator's dream, that familiar orange and black icon. Well, it'd be rude not to at least see who was online. 30 minutes later, and I'm still browsing through profiles. Then, all of a sudden, a familiar sound. My interest piqued, senses abound. Could it be I've received something more than a tap, like a well-written message from an interesting chap? Deftly switching from profiles to inbox. It was a message. Are you clean? That's what it said. Are you clean? That's exactly how the message read. Disgusted to get something quite so absurd, both the question itself and the poor choice of words. In anger, I've started to message him back, to tear off a strip, to launch an attack. I pause, take a breath, change my reply. Well, I do like to have a good wash before I meet a guy, even the tricky bits. Then it came. Don't be smart, you know what I mean. Have you got HIV or are you still clean? Of course, I already knew what it meant, and his arsey reply further marked the extent of his ignorant manner, so loaded with hate, the perfect example to demonstrate that though times have changed and the risks aren't the same, some people still can't get it into their brain, that the problem lies not within HIV, but with those who lack knowledge, unable to see. There's plenty of ways of protecting oneself, from onward transmission to stay in good health. Yet only too often I'm left stunned and aghast by these people whose minds are still stuck in the past. Would it matter either way? I ask, with a curious mind, intrigued that his thinking was still so far behind. Ah, so that's a yes then, comes this fella's retort. Like he's figured me out with no facts to support his misguided deductions, an imperfect fit, so I leapt on the chance to school him a bit. Not necessarily, but if I had HIV, I'd most likely be treated with a viral load that's then so much depleted that it's deemed undetectable on results of a test, no longer infectious, protecting the rest. And if you've got doubts that my words aren't quite true, then check the campaign label U equals U. On the flip side though, if I made it quite clear that I've no HIV and you've nothing to fear, would that declaration then shape your behaviour on trusting my words? Do me a favour. With just how much faith could you rate my disclosure, or then would you ask about recent exposure? Surely it's better to not be misled and concern yourself more with your own health instead. Now, I don't mean to lecture or indeed patronise, but there's one or two things that I'd like to advise. Like first, to get tested, and then once you're sure of your negative status right through to the core, then start using condoms or utilise PrEP. But think a bit harder and do watch your step. Because messaging people to ask if they're clean is downright disgusting and frankly obscene. I'm sure your intentions were not to cause pain, but words can be hurtful and wound just the same. And the impact on others with what you're suggesting could reinforce stigma and prevent them from testing. So, for those of you wondering how did it all end? Did he still want to play? Did I make a new friend? Well, the simple truth is, no, he blocked me. But maybe one day he'll take time to think back to our message exchange and my gentle attack. He'll finally get what I'm trying to say, reflect on my words and alter his ways. But then even if he continues to be so blinded to knowledge about HIV, I'm proud that I tried to make him see sense, to bring him to task without the pretense. I hope you would too, if ever you're asked. Let's make HIV stigma a thing of the past.